everybody, it's Jeff Antoniuk. Welcome to J&J On Jazz, powered by Jazzwire. And I want to introduce my friend James. I happen to know that James owns a pink hockey jersey.
And I happen to know that Jeff played hockey as a 9-year-old, and he got to play because his dad was the coach. Is that right?
Well, yes, I'm Canadian, and that's kind of sad when you can't, as a male, make the hockey team and dad has to be the coach. But there you go. That's it. That's it. And now, today, we want to talk about the blues and hockey. And here's the thing. Hockey is pretty simple, but it's deep. And here's the thing. Hockey can make you very happy, but it can make you sad when you're getting punched in the face, right? Like the blues. And here's the thing. Hockey comes in 3 sections, and so does the blues.
Look at that. That's beautiful.
That's deep, right?
That is deep. That's right. There's freedom in the form in hockey too, you know?
Oh my gosh. That's how we roll at J&J. So James and I, and that's the deal with what we want to do with this show is we don't really work out exactly what we're going to talk about. I don't know what his sweet spots are, how he feels about this music. And that, of course, is a conversation. I don't want to have a conversation with somebody who I know exactly what they're going to say. No fun. So James and I decided we both understand how important the blues are and to learning and, everything you need to know, I think, is inside the blues. What do you think, James?
Yeah, the blues is my workshop. That's the place where I go to work out new ideas, to work on new concepts, to make sure that I'm taking care of my fundamentals, the stuff that I know I have to have together all the time. The blues is my workshop.
I love that. And inside Jazzwire, with all the adult students I work with there, I'm always talking about having a laboratory to do our experiments in, right? And so for me, the blues is fantastic if you're working on a 2-5-1, or if you're working on a secondary dominant, or working on dominant chords. Of course, that's what goes on in the blues. So yeah, I call it a laboratory, you call it a workshop. It's the same thing.
That's beautiful.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, great.
Yep. Well, I know one of the things we were talking about doing is maybe you playing a couple choruses of blues and us talking about what you do, if there's anything you're aware of that you did, if there's anything I heard or I'm wondering about, and just sort of figure that out. I could do the same thing. I could play a couple choruses. And here's what we're going to do for everybody out there is we're going to transcribe our solos. That's James and my assignment to each other. He'll transcribe his solo. I'll transcribe my solo. And that's going to be something that we offer to those of you on our mailing list. And there's going to be many more PDFs coming up and links and things like that. So please send an email to right here, JandJonJazz@gmail.com. We'll put you on the mailing list. And then whenever we have something, we'll get it to you. So transcriptions of these 2 solos. Here's the other thing, very important. On the mailing list, every week we have a new useless button. And it's a button you hit and it does something incredibly useless but awesome. The one last week, when you hit that button on the email that you get, it makes James's garage door go up and down.
Yeah.
So over 2,000 times your garage door went up and down. Thank you to those of you who clicked that button.
Yeah, thank you also because somebody was able to steal a couple of my hockey sticks out of the garage, and you know what? It's really cut back on the amount of misery in my life. So it's great. I appreciate that from everybody. God. Thanks a lot for that. Great.
Fantastic. Fantastic. Well, James, you want to play a couple choruses of blues for us? We're going to play an F concert, and James will play a couple choruses unaccompanied, and that's something we could talk about too. Why unaccompanied? Is that a thing? Is that important? And we'll just go from there. So, yeah.
Sounds great. Okay, here we go.
Awesome. Oh, man. Beautiful. Yeah, we need to play together. We need to get in the same room.
Yes, we do.
Very cool. Well, one thing, the big thing that struck me was the momentum in your playing, actually. So this is not necessarily talking about the blues, but and so not only exactly the notes you played, what are the chord changes, what are the notes you picked, what hip substitutions, what devices. I was I make that distinction between what and how you were playing those notes. You could have played half step away and it would have sounded awesome because of that intention you were playing with. Is that something you can talk about, or does it, do you know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean. Yeah, I always try to focus on time before anything else. And one of the things that a number of teachers that I had over the years talked about a lot was the strength of your line is always more important than the substance of your line, maybe harmonically or melodically. Tim Higgins always used to tell me that jazz is, bebop in particular, is goal-oriented music, so always think forward. I only got to have a couple lessons with him, but they were really, really transformative. So I've always tried to think about that, and I especially at that tempo, I want to have that bounce in my playing, and that just it makes me happy when other cats play that way. So yeah, that all makes sense to me, and I appreciate you saying nice things, because there was stuff I should have played that I didn't, but that's how it goes.
That is how it goes. And I forgot that we have Tim Higgins in common, that we had both studied with Tim way back in the day. That's very cool. And speaking of studying with people, I have to let people out there know about Maryland Summer Jazz. Mm-hmm. This is the 18th year of Maryland Summer Jazz, coming up this July. Of course, we're in the middle of what's going on in the world. It's not really clear, is the world going to be open this summer or not, et cetera, et cetera. So as we did this last winter, as we did last summer, we're doing Maryland Summer Jazz online and virtual. And what that means is people from across North America can join us, but it also means that people from around the world, Europe, Australia, Singapore, and that's folks we had last year, can join us. James is on faculty. We have a killer faculty, Paul Bolenbach, guitarist from New York. But check this out, Wayne Escoffrey, Grammy winner on the saxophone. Bruce Barth, who used to play piano with Tony Bennett. Check this out, Randy Brecker is joining us for a day. Jeff Tane Watts on the drums, joining us for a day. Kenny Werner on piano. Vincent Herring. Peter Bernstein on guitar, on and on. So it's an amazing, amazing thing. And we've really figured out how to do online education. So go to the website, marylandsummerjazz.com. And I hope you'll join us. We have 2 different 3-day sections in July. July 16 through 18, and I think it's July 23 through 25. So study with James and all these other amazing, amazing players.
It's legit, Jeff. It's legit. I got it real quick. Last summer was the first time I got to do it with everybody, and I was really worried that Zoom would be a challenge. And man, I had such a blast teaching, and it was a transformative experience for me. So it's legit. It is the real deal. It is not some sort of half-stepping thing. It is the real deal, in person or on Zoom. Guaranteed. It's awesome.
Well, I appreciate that. When we decided that we were going to and had to do it virtually, it was important to me that it's not some watered down and worse version. It's different and some incredible strengths in the format. So that's great. So man, I want to know a little bit about some of the things that you played and were aware of playing. Let me ask this question. Was everything you played brand new, pure improvisation, coming directly from the muse in this moment?
I'm only laughing because the same people that would give me nicknames to put on the back of my hockey jersey, who are musicians, would say, we hear James play the same stuff all the time. None of that was new, okay? But no, I think for me, a lot of it I know is stuff that I've played before, especially the lines that I play, which is why I try to focus as much as I can on rhythm, because that's going to make me sort of get out of the stock things that I usually play, at least at the beginning of a chorus or two. And as a solo goes on, I kind of surrender to the moment, and then who knows what'll happen. But my early stuff in a solo, I really focus on rhythm, so I'm not repeating myself from day to day.
Man, well, I mean, there's some huge takeaways right there. Focusing on rhythm, you made a distinction between the beginning of your solo and later in the solo, and giving yourself permission. You know, people joke, oh, he plays the same stuff all the time. To me, that's not a bad thing. First of all, that is our vocabulary, right? Mm-hmm. That's how you tell Clifford Brown apart from Freddie Hubbard. Their vocabulary, the words they choose to say, the way they choose to express themselves. So when you start repeating yourself, that's actually a good sign that you're on to something, as far as I'm concerned.
I agree with
that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, cool. And of course you have coaches and mentors that you trust to tell you like, hey, maybe that one, not so much. Let's find lick number 2 now. But man, in general, I think that's fantastic.
Beautiful. Man, I want to hear you play. Come on, you're stalling.
All right. Let me play. So yeah, F blues. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 1.
Yes, sir.
That's what I got. That's what I got today, anyway.
That is beautiful. Man, let me ask you a question. What are you hearing in your head when you're playing unaccompanied?
That's a great question. A band. Man, I got a great band going on in my head. Really, it's a great question. Yeah, so interesting. I'm definitely hearing the drummer I'm playing with. I tend to connect a lot with the drums. I think I connect rhythmically and with that sort of, and a conversation. I'm hearing things. When I play Blue Dot, I'm hearing something respond to that. And so instead of counting rests or wondering when I should come in next, I'm hearing something in my head answer something I just played. Some of the time.
Beautiful.
But I'm a sax player. So it's really my birthright to overplay like as much as possible. So, I mean, there's that. I'll own up to that. But that's cool. That's a great question. A great question. And so we were talking about unaccompanied playing. And so I think it's a really, really valuable thing to do is to be able to play in a way where we're creating the time, the groove, the feel, playing melodies that are hinting at what the harmony is, or that contain the harmony might be a way to put it. I can't play harmony on this instrument, but I can play melodies that give that shape. And now for the guitar players and piano players out there, I would say do this exercise too, but you don't get to comp for yourself. Piano players, sit on your left hand and do this just solo lines.
Yeah. I totally agree. I think that for me, playing unaccompanied, it really forces me to conceptualize the rest of the musicians I would be playing with, and it makes my time better when I'm playing with other musicians. Sometimes I put a metronome on, and sometimes I don't. It all just sort of depends on how I'm feeling. I like to play unaccompanied without a metronome because it keeps me really honest with my time. I can't lean on it. But yeah, it's a great exercise. Yeah. That's a great suggestion.
Oh, that's cool. Well, and inside Jazzwire, which I've mentioned a couple times, Jazzwire, subscription website that we do that has hundreds of adult students from 25 different countries now working with us. And we just have this brand new capability to offer you a 1-week free trial, not a tour, not a, show you pictures of it. Come into Jazzwire, work with us for a week and see what it's about. So go to this link and in about 20 seconds, you put in your name, your email address, you are in. That's how it works. So I'm really excited to have a lot of you finally get to see what I've been talking about for a couple years now with Jazzwire. But yeah, that's something I really coax people to do is do some unaccompanied playing. It's scary, it's hard, all that stuff, but it's great for you.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, and one of the things we were joking about at the beginning with hockey having 3 periods and the blues kind of having 3 periods, right? I mean, the blues is broken down into these 4-measure phrases, and so that's also a really big thing to be thinking of is playing inside those 4-measure phrases, and that's a lot of if I'm working with a novice or intermediate player, one of the first things that can make the hugest difference is straightening out somebody's phrasing. Mm-hmm. Get them just playing really good, solid 4-measure phrases. And the blues is amazing for that.
And then the next step is, as you heard in Jeff's playing, and occasionally you heard in mine, it's how jazz musicians connect those phrases. Once you've learned to play in those 3 clean 4-measure phrases, how do you connect those phrases to each other with linking material? And the slick thing about the blues is in bar 4, there's a 2-5 that goes to the 4 chord. In bar 8, there's a 2-5 that goes to the 2 chord. In bar 12, there's a 2-5 that goes back to the 1 chord. Or you can back up to bar 11 and make it a 3-6-2-5 or a 1-6-2-5. So these little points that you can link these phrases together. And you'll hear Jeff and I play language in those bars that connect the other measures to each other, the other phrases to each other. So I know that's how you're thinking because I can hear it in your playing, and I'm trying to think that way when I'm playing the blues too.
Yeah. Well, that's huge. And so now we're starting to get into the harmonic conversation. And of course, this goes on for years, right? I mean, the blues, like I was saying, is such a simple but such a deep form. And that's why people have been playing the blues for way over 100 years and how it's still challenging and fascinating. So, right, you're talking about secondary dominance and 3-6-2-5. So I know we've got a lot of students out there watching who know what we're talking about. And we're here talking to the adult students. We've got folks that know what we're talking about, others that they kind of get it, others not quite sure. So here's the thing. To those people, I want to say, yeah, come take that free trial and find out about this stuff. This is something all of you can do. It doesn't matter whether you're an ear player or whether you're great at theory, but you're not so good at the feel. That's what James and I do all day, is work with people and get them sounding better than they ever imagined they could sound. So, man, I think we can leave it there. So I really hope that people join the mailing list, and so they'll get the PDFs each time, transcriptions of what we played here. I hope I can figure it out.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly right. And this is actually kind of a nice segue into next week's show, where we're going to be talking about really one of the great choruses of blues ever played, a Hank Mobley solo that actually James hit me to. So talking about these secondary dominants and some of the things we hinted at, that's what we're going to get to next week. So maybe let's just leave it there, James. Put on that pink hockey jersey and have a great day.
Yeah, I'm gonna go take some slap shots at the garage door. I'll see y'all later.
My man. Take care.
Cheers.